Hi there, welcome back. What if I told you you can get a full-blown Linux server for free? No credit card charges, no trial, no catch. And it's yours for life. Host your own secure website with a real SSL certificate. No fake padlocks, no warnings. And it runs on Oracle Cloud's lightning-fast infrastructure using Rocky Linux, the rock-solid Red Hat alternative. In this video, we will show you how to get your own FreeForLife Rocky Linux server. Then we will set up Nginx, the most popular web server on the internet. Then we will install a real trusted SSL certificate. Make your site live to the world, secure and blazing fast. So if you ever said, I can't afford a web server, this video is exactly for you. You need to watch this video to the end, where we will reveal to you the secret that we use to create our blog using this setup. The instructions for this video can be found in our blog. Just have a look down below for the link. This is how we are hosting our blog on the Oracle Cloud. And if you look here, you can see we have a trusted SSL certificate. Enough said, let's get our hands dirty. It all begins here. Click sign up. You will select your country as United States or wherever you are. Fill in this form. What's going to happen is they're going to ask you for your credit card. And the reason they do this is because this is the valuable service they're giving you for free. But they want to make sure that you're not a robot. You will give them your credit card details, your email address, all this. And then they will debit you with $1. However, as soon as the transaction is successful, they will refund you with $1. And that way they can prove that your account is valid and that you are who you are. So you will fill in the forms, follow the wizard, and once the account has been created, then you can proceed to create your server. At that stage, you will go back to that form and log in, and then it'll bring you up here. And you will click Create a VM instance. The first thing you want to do is to change the image, because you don't want to use an Oracle server. Unless you want an Oracle server, you will change the image, and then select the Rocky Linux. And you will select a couple of things here. We want the Rocky 9, Community Edition, that one there. You make sure that what you select is free. And then once you've done that, you will say select the image. There's not much more we can do here except go next, next, next. As the free offering gives you 1 gigabyte of RAM and 500 and something gigabyte of storage. I think it's 580 or 850. I can't remember, but it's enough. It's more than enough for a web server. And you will just follow the prompts here, next, 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 until you have created it. Once you've done that, you will have an instance. And if you look here, it says it's always free. There is something we forgot to mention. If you are using Linux, you need to create an SSH certificate. So you will run this command and then just press enter, 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 enter. Don't set any values. Leave it completely blank. However, if you're using Windows, you will use PuTTY, and PuTTY will allow you to create your public and private certificates. You need your public certificate and you need to copy that into Notepad so that while you are going through the steps that we did to create the VM, it will ask you to paste the certificate. And that's where you will paste the certificate in there. Now I can get my certificate in Linux from the SSH folder. And here is the public certificate, or the public key as they call it. So you will copy that. You will say nano and then that. In Windows, the PuTTY keygen will give you the certificate that will allow you to paste it into your notepad. But that's what you need. And once you have done that and you have created your server, you now need to SSH to that. Let's clear the screen. So it's SSH. Remember, the name of the user on the Rocky server is Rocky at 100.99.88.77. That is assuming that to be the IP address of your server. Alternatively, you can edit your hosts file. You need to be sudo, so sudo nano, and then in there you will put your IP address and the name you want to give it. So it could be 100.99.88.77 and then call that Oracle Cloud. And that's what you will put in that file. Now to connect there, you will say SSH Rocky at Oracle Cloud. In our case, we've called it Oracloud. And once you have logged in, you are now the user Rocky. So you need to escalate your privileges. So you will say sudo su dash, and now we are root. The first thing we want to do now is to update our Linux. So the command is sudo dnf update -y. And eventually we get to this stage where the update is complete. Now we can continue. You will run this command to install Nginx. You may also want to run nano as well. In our case, we've already installed them, so it's telling us that they are already installed. Nginx is your web server, but it's also a proxy server. It's a very useful and very powerful server. It's going to do two jobs for you. It's going to work with your security for your SSL certificate. At the same time, it's also going to be your web server. Now we need to go and create a web page. So we will say nano. Notice we are root, so this is fine. var www.html/index.html. And you will put the index page of your web server there. So your entire website goes there. This server is now ready to deliver web pages. We should be able to open in curl the primary website. Let's see. There we are. The next thing you are going to do is you're going to go to DuckDNS, and in here you need to log in. You can use your Google account. We are going to use our GitHub account. This server doesn't exist. Once you have logged in, you need to create a subdomain. Woohoo! Let's see if woohoo.duckdns is available. Add domain. No, it's taken up. So you need to choose your domain. I'm sure this will be free. Right, we've now created that. For the sake of this video, we are creating this domain. At the end of this video, we will delete this domain. We need to put our server's IP address here. 100.99.88.77. By the way, don't try this IP address, it's fictitious. And you will say update, and we now have this domain with this IP address. That's all we need to do here. The rest of the work is done in the terminal. I'm just going to save this so that I have this. Copy. So now we go back to the terminal. What we are going to do here, the instructions for this, the instructions for what we are going to do now, we will find in our blog. We've already done this. We've created our domain name with our IP address. And we have SSH'd to our server. So all we now need to do is to run these commands. Sudo install Apple release, sudo install Certbot. We are not going to do that because we've already done that on our server, but you will do that on your server. And then we will make a folder, DuckDNS, and we will open that folder. We are now going to create the DuckDNS script. So this is the command you will run. And since we are in that folder, you don't need that. So it's just duck.sh. Now we are not going to edit this. We don't want to reveal our credentials. This is what you are going to paste there. Now, if you look here, it wants your token. So if we go here and we look here, this is the token. Then you will save it, Control S, Control X, and then we will make that file executable. You can use -x, but we prefer 775. And now you will run duck. So /duck. We are not going to do that. And you will look at the log. So you will run this command to look at the log. If there's any errors, it will be in the log. However, our instructions are quite good, and based on our instructions, we got this working. Now, in 6 months' time or a year's time, depending on the time that you set to expire the certificate, you will need to run this shell script again. And it's as simple as that. You run this every year or every 6 months. We recommend that you read our instructions on our blog page from top to bottom at least twice for each section. So let's go through what we've got here. Section 1 is where we created the VM in the cloud server. This is fully documented here. Section 2 is where we installed Nginx in our Rocky VM server. Section 3 is where we created the SSL certificate in DuckDNS, and then the shell scripts that we ran, all the commands we ran. You've seen all of this so far. So this is what we ran. Now there's one thing we didn't mention in here. We will update our instructions. After you have created your VM and you have SSH to it, you now have permanent access to the VM. However, you need to open 2 ports, port 80 and port 443. You only want to open port 443 if you want to make your website secure, HTTPS. So let's see what we have here. We have HTTPS. This is a very quick configuration you need to do on the server to open the ports 80 and 443. You may only want to open port 443 and keep port 80 closed. Now what we have done is we have used Hugo to skin our websites. So we have our DevOps blog. We also have a Linux blog. We also have a Kubernetes blog. So as you can see, you can really create something professional. We trust you found this interesting and useful. Please give us a like, leave us a comment. We really need to know what you are interested in. And we have a tradition on this channel that we greet you in 5 languages. Baie dankie, tot ziens. Grazie mille, ami, ciao. Jesus inaderfe. Auf Wiedersehen, mein Freund. Namaste, namaskar. Domo arigato, tomodachi, sayonara.